Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Ramblin Rebels podcast. This is episode number 28, and today we have the Riverside Academy Lady Rebels softball coach, Coach Tamra Regalo. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Just trying to stay dry.
So, Coach, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm Tamra Regalo. This is my 9th year at Riverside Academy. I am originally from Hernando, Mississippi. I lived in Jackson. I was born in Jackson, but I went to Hernando High School pretty much kindergarten till I graduated. Got a scholarship to play ball at Southeastern University, and I went there for 4 years, and then I graduated. I did 5th year assistant volunteer coach to finish out my degree, and then I think I did probably about a year and a half or so of private lessons, and then got a job offer to come here, and been here ever since.
Whenever you started off here, were you an assistant coach, or you just went straight into the head coach?
I went straight into head coaching. Me and Coach Tori actually got here at the same exact time. We both put in for the job, and just lo and behold, we both ended up, she wanted to teach. I didn't, but she ended up coming on staff and helping, and we coached the first 4 years together before, her and Coach Chris went to Southeastern, did their little thing, then they came back,
Right.
So now they're back again. So it's a, good story, because me and Coach Tori played together at Southeastern for 1 year. Yep.
I gotcha. So, all of them coming back, is it like a family reunion?
It was. It really. It gave me really good feeling that Thomas came back, because Thomas, his our first year it was just me and Tori,
Right.
and then second year we asked Coach Thomas to come on staff. Him being a parent, you just never know, how they're having a kid on the team, but he's been awesome at coming on staff, and he was never that parent to say hey, my daughter needs to do this, or my daughter, he was very much team first.
Right.
And, he stepped away. He went and coached at BRCC for a year or two, and then I ended up asking him to come back, asked him if he was interested, and was like, we're getting the group back together, the band, you want to come back? And he did, and it really was kind of an indication, I feel that what was to come, what could be last year, yeah.
Right. So tell me a little bit more about you and Miss Tori's relationship, and how you got her to come back here.
Well, I don't know that I got her to come back here. I think that that Coach Chris was, going to Southeastern. It's very job demanding. It's a lot away from your family.
Right.
And I think this was just home, for them. It really was. So as much as I would love to say it was me that got them to come back, I really think it was more so for their family, and we were just a, extra cherry on top maybe.
Right. So y'all had a lot of success last year.
Yes, we did. Well,
Yeah.
not early on. We did not. But as the season went on, we did. Yes.
Walk me through the season.
Let's see. So preseason, we got rained out of pretty much everything that we could play, except for one scrimmage. We have an umpire scrimmage normally. We got rained out of in Hammond. It was raining. It was turf. I don't like playing on wet turf. You could ask anybody. Too many people get hurt on wet turf, and we opted not to play. Our main scrimmages got canceled. We had one home scrimmage actually against Catholic Point Capee, who we ended up playing the last game of the season. That was the only scrimmage we had going into the softball season.
Right.
Soccer did very well last year and was in the playoffs, and a lot of them were, really wanting to concentrate on soccer, so they didn't get to come to softball. We didn't get to practice,
Right.
and that's it's a pro and a con at a small school like this is, you have to be able to share and do those things. So we didn't have a lot of those kids coming to practice all the time. They came when they could, or if their bodies allowed it, kind of thing. So we went into the season with not a lot of team practice. It rained a lot,
Right.
kind of like it is right now, just a lot of rain. And so we ended up going to Monroe, playing like Tioga, who was in the state championship game last year, Sterlington, who was in the state championship game last year. We went to the Polar Bear Classic, and we hit well, but we didn't play defensively sound. We didn't pitch the greatest, so we ended up starting the season 0-5, and we were just like, man, this is not good. This is not where we thought this was going, because we had such a talented group of kids, but
Right.
really, once we got past, we won the first game, we're like, okay, now we're going. So it ended up, getting better and better. We played some teams, we beat some teams that we haven't beat in the past.
Like who?
So Dutchtown was like the last game going into the playoffs. Like the girls were super excited to play against them, and we did really well against them last year. Would have liked to walk away with the Central. We always lose very close games. So those big 5A teams sometimes, and sure we didn't beat them last year, but we got close to coming back and beating them early season last year.
Right.
Those are the two that just ring a bell.
Right. So walk me through like the playoffs with the girls. They came off a pretty good season, very confident going into the playoffs. Tell me about that. Like, what's the mindset?
I mean, you always want to tell them, like go out there and you're gonna play who, once the playoffs come out, like you got who you got, and you want to play every game like it's your last. And I know the first game, we walked. I think it was a run rule. The team that is fairly new, and sometimes that happens, especially with our division. That very first round sometimes is a little bit easier opponent, but you start getting to that second round, and you really gotta have your big girl pants on and ready to go, and that's exactly what we had to do. That team came over and we went down 5-0 in the first inning, and years ago it happened to us when we were public and private, and we fell apart, when they scored runs on us, and we didn't come back. We sat down and we cried before we were even in the third inning, so they had given up a couple of years ago when we played Doyle in the playoffs, but when we played Sacred Heart here, we didn't. Now, they probably went and cried. If they did, I don't know. But we answered, and we came back and did what we knew they were capable of. They ended up hitting, I don't even know, 5 home runs that game. A lot. And it was a lot of firepower and a really good job of pitching coming in and just flip-flopping the script a little bit. Amber had started, Kylie had come in, and really shut down a really athletic Sacred Heart team. They're really good.
Right. What about the state championship?
When we got to the state tournament, so then we had St. Frederick, who I know their coach, because we went to their place years ago as the 12 seed and upset them as the 5 seed. So I knew what kind of program we were walking into. I knew that they had a lot of kids that play competitive ball, that could hit well. I'd seen their pitcher got a lot of accolades throughout the season, so I knew that she could throw it really well. And Cameron just kind of set the tone for that game. She got a change up, kind of later on in the count, and hit it over the fence, and it was just kind of a sense of relief, okay, she's on it. We're gonna get rolling here. And Kylie pitched a really good game, and we knew she was hurting a little bit. She had fatigued a little bit. Amber came in, finished that game, and then that next game, Amber just sometimes when you see it and she wants to throw, it's dangerous when she's on. And she was dead set on getting in there and doing her job. And our defense, I can't say enough about the defense that, through the last quarter of the season was really good. I don't know that we made an error that weekend. We might have, but I don't remember it.
Right. So this season, walk me through it. How are you feeling? Are you confident in your players and maybe getting back on that big stage again?
Yeah, so obviously we return pitchers, and that's been a big, lean to this year. Hey, look, we're green in a lot of places. You know, we have people in positions they've never played before, or with this group of kids, and we're still trying to figure it out. Our hitting has gotten better since the beginning of the season, and I definitely want to be back in that, you know, in that sulfur atmosphere. We have the capability of doing it. We do have, in my opinion, one of the toughest divisions in softball. You know, we do have a very tough road to get there, and we're fully capable of doing it. It's just we've got to play our game, and we have to pitch good. We have to hit good. We have to play defense, and put all those little things together, then we'll be fine.
Right. So tell me a little bit more about like your personal relationship with the players.
Well, a lot of them I've known for, you know, a long time. I've worked with a lot of the pitchers here since they were, you know, 9-10 years old. I think they know that I'm like pitching Coach Tamra, and Coach Tamra is two different people. I'm a lot, I think, nicer in the setting of pitching coach, you know, than I am than coach. You know, I try to let them do fun things, and I'll goof around with them, but at the same time, they know when I'm serious.
Right.
But I mean, I've had some really good relationships come out, you know, of coaching for sure. Lexi is somebody that I keep up with, and she's over in Hammond now,
Right.
doing her thing. So, you know, there's been some special relationships for sure.
Right. So I always talk about food on this podcast.
I heard that I did hear, and I was like, oh man, I don't even know if I have an answer for food. Like I eat everything. So like.
Yeah, but like you going out, right? You going out. It's a Friday night. Where are you going out? And what you gonna get to eat?
Okay, well, if it was Friday, if I could pick anything to have, it would have to be a Tuesday night, because I've only ever had it once. And they had is it Wagyu steak?
Wagyu?
Yeah, that, I don't know how to pronounce it. At Jacques Mellon in Hammond.
How much was that?
It was like $120 for 2 people, though.
Oh.
For 2 people, and it was like a big cut of meat, and it had 2 sides, 2 salads. So for 2 people, for that steak, it was cheap, in my opinion.
You gonna have to send me that place.
It was so good. It was the best steak I've ever had in my life. So that would be my go-to. If I could have anything, that was really good, because I always look on Tuesdays to see if they have it.
Right.
Because it's steak night. That's my favorite. That's been my favorite.
You. What about if you just hungry and like you at home? What you ordering?
At home, I do like going to Commodore's in Hammond. It's like they have buffalo breadsticks, and they have like a spicy ranch sauce kind of that they have, and they serve it with. It's a really good pizza place in Hammond. That's where we took the girls when we go to Southeastern games, and they loved it, because that's one of my favorite places. It's a little mom and pop shop. You know, they're really down to earth, really nice people. So.
Yeah. Is this was last year your first time ever winning a state championship at Riverside?
Yes, it was. We played in a state championship when Madison was here, Coach Madison, and that was the only other time that we've gone to the actual state game. There's been several years that we lost to the person who eventually won, you know, probably 4 years. I think Notre Dame won it twice.
Right.
Calvary Baptist won it twice, and we ended up having them every year when we got there.
Yeah.
So, and you know, you're gonna run into that. You're gonna run into those teams at some point during, you know, that sometimes they're just a little further down than you are. And I don't think that people thought that we were even in the top 4 last year. Like, there was a lot of talk about, you know, Opelousas and who we played in the state championship, Catholic Point Capee and St. John, but like Riverside wasn't really even put in that conversation.
Right.
So that was nice.
Are y'all in that conversation this year, you say?
I don't know that we are or aren't. I mean, I know a lot of people know that we have the pitchers coming back, and that's been, You know, if we can pitch well, if we can not walk, if we can play good defense behind the pitching, you know, that's where we've got to excel at.
Right. So, what is it going to take besides that to get your kids to the state championship again?
I would say a lot of communication between, you know, a lot of more time, hopefully, at practicing on the field together. Like, I still don't feel like we've had enough time on the field between the rain and the games and everything. We haven't had a whole lot of time together, so
kind of like a similar story as last year.
Yeah, I think we're just going to need a little bit more practice out there, and that's, I mean, like I said, we're still leaning on pitching right now. We're still we've got some bats in the lineup that weren't in there last year. We lost 6 that were in the lineup. That opens up a whole lot, you know, in that scenario. So we have a lot of, you know, new people. We're still trying to figure out where the puzzles all fit together.
All right. Well, thank you for being on. I wish you the best of luck on your season. Is there anything else you want to say?
No, that's good. I appreciate you having me.
No problem. Have a nice day.
Thank you.